Hey, how are you? This is Scott. Today I want to talk a little bit about the nomadic lifestyle. I too am interested with different destinations that you see online, and I feel like I'd like to make a video that is slightly more honest and more interesting in terms of is this lifestyle really for you? The first thing I'd like to talk about is more of the truths that are involved in this lifestyle. Most of the videos that you see are fairly authentic, but I would say by a pretty large margin, there is a lot of fake information out there. People trying to pass off where they've been. Again, I don't really like to, oh, I'm some travel pro because maybe I am, maybe I'm not. As you can see here, without giving away too much here, this is my passport book. This is Mexico. Maybe there's a Philippine stamp here. There's some more Philippine stamps, multiple Thailand stamps. Um, we got a Vietnamer in there. We have some more Vietnam stamps, another Mexico stamp. I'm fairly well traveled in regards to experiences. Another page of Mexico, some China stamps. I've been around, and the big deal here is, like I said, I mean, I watch a lot of great videos and some more China, and let's see here, quite a bit more Mexico. I'm a little more familiar with Mexico. I did live there for quite a while, mainly in the northern area, or Zona Norte, as known. I have picked up quite a bit of Spanish. Yo hablo español. And, I can tell you, with great certainty that the lifestyles and stuff that you see online are, by a, kind of a, these people are very, passionate about things they do. And, it may be not exactly, although, maybe you live in Oklahoma City, Dallas, Texas, or, even LA and stuff like that. Each individual, experience over here is going to be quite a bit different. Actually, my, experiences are, quite interesting, and, maybe even, good to bad. A lot of nights sleeping in the airports. The truth is, they have found the niche that they, or the place where, really stimulates them. And, throughout, that experience and stuff like that, they found something that works for them. And, however, I've been in Asia, been to Mexico, I do find that I'm quite a bit more drawn to Mexico. I do love Mexico quite a bit. Maybe it's because I have picked up on a lot of Spanish. Then what happened was, some friends of mine were like, "Hey, you gotta check out the Philippines, whatnot." And so I, started to, to travel around the Philippines. I didn't particularly care for the Philippines. Not that it wasn't, a great experience. There wasn't anything per se negative, but it really feels like, maybe the person that came before you was, the benefactor of, some better things. I mean, some of these countries, like Thailand, Bangkok, some of these places have, kind of been, more, the prices has gone up on some of this stuff. Some of the videos that you see are slightly misleading in the cost and, that are involved. Obviously, if you say example come from Dallas, Texas, or Oklahoma or Nebraska or Kansas or whatnot, the experience is going to be pretty stimulating. I mean, it is very night and day to something along that line. Say you come from Los Angeles or New York, it may exactly be, a lot of bit cheaper. But I found some of the costs to be, more along the lines of, um, you know, moderate, lower cost. I am from the West Coast, California, San Diego, Las Vegas, Washington area. And, the one thing I really could say about this type of thing is, the longer you go, the more nomadic you might feel. I mean, I've been traveling for the good part of, uh, 7 years, maybe something along that line. What that means is, I haven't had much of a, regular address, or, I do have places I stay in the Western United States, and, but I really haven't stuck around, and, I've really kept it moving. Um, Going back to kind of, the differences and stuff like that, I do believe that, some of the truths that exist in this lifestyle are, um, you know, it doesn't quite fit, everybody. It doesn't quite fit everybody for a lot of reasons. One is your specific job. I mean, my specific job offers me quite a bit of freedom, but, indeed, I gotta be available online, with a good internet connection, with reasonable amount of availability, some ability to call and whatnot. And I really believe that, you know I really found Mexico a little more versatile to this type of situation. One, I mean, I'm in the same relative time zone, so I didn't deal with that problem. Asia is very night and day, so to speak, with in regards where you are, you know, have to be awake and on the, American time zones, consistent with maybe your customers or whatnot. So, it can put you in a, kind of a flip-flopping situation. I mean, you want to go out and see sights and so on. So, you get tired, and, traveling and whatnot. It gets very tedious. That being said, I mean, these are third world countries, and, I have had equally interesting situations. One time, I was in Bangkok 3 in the morning, and I was just frankly told that I wasn't flying. And, I mean, it struck quite a bit of panic in me. I mean, that would never happen in the United States. They might say I'm not flying or whatnot, but I'd be rebooked. I would be, this guy was just pretty much fuck off. And so, I then, had to start to try to reach people in the United States to rebook and stuff. Thankfully enough, most of it has been, relatively passable. I mean, I haven't really found myself in a situation where, I couldn't get past it. One of the other situations is, these places where you go and stuff like that, will maybe hit you in different ways. One example of this is, I didn't care for the Philippines all that much. That being said, and I like to make clear, nothing bad happened, but, it really kind of will be up to you on how, you connect with the terrain and, costs. I felt like the Philippines was expensive, and we're talking the Philippines has some of the cheapest places to be and live in the world. But they have made a business out of the foreigners, and, kind of a, sex tourism situation. I bring that up mostly because, that is, a big attraction, I believe, for some of these places. And, not that, I gotta be honest, that would be some of the, reason I was attracted, to the areas. I was looking for maybe some relationships that were more stimulating, and, and quite a bit more, I don't know, kind of something that, I clearly didn't find. That being said, I made a lot of friends. I had a lot of experiences, and, I was able to, enjoy myself, see a lot of things that, maybe I'm never going to see again. Go to places that were quite amazing, and, and that being said, I definitely felt like maybe Thailand was quite a bit better. But, again, Thailand comes with a different set of issues as far as, from a foreigner travel situation. A lot less English is involved. That was one of the, kind of maybe the better points of, Philippines is, the girls and whatnot, spoke English. I, was looking more for connections versus, prostitution situations and whatnot. So that was definitely better. But, again, it's very hard for, people to really connect. I mean, you're in America, they're in the Philippines, it doesn't have it has a hard time meeting, right in the middle. And, you know, um, there are definitely some barriers in that regard. Thailand is different. It's a different approach, different, relationship situations. Another similarity to this situation is prostitution is illegal in the Philippines, and prostitution is in fact legal in Thailand. And but the where say in the Philippines, as a foreigner, you are approached quite aggressively. As you read online, I mean, you could be married 7 days a week there. And kind of an interesting point on that note was, you know, um, I found myself also, interacting with girls that had been married to other foreigners that, in fact, just been straight abandoned over there and, can't get divorced. But, moving back over to Thailand and stuff, I felt like that place offered me quite a bit more. The internet was a lot more stable. But again, even Thailand has grown quite expensive and stuff like that. In some regard, there's definitely good values. I mean, again, these are generals. I feel you see these budgets and stuff online that people are posting, and this is what it costs and stuff like that. Your experience is going to be quite a bit different than theirs, I promise you. You may be willing to eat chicken off the street, chicken on a stick, and or you may not, and that's really the bottom line. However, that brings me to my last place, and maybe one of the most interesting. Vietnam. Vietnam, if you're not familiar with Vietnam, it has pretty much come back from the dirt on which that from the Vietnam War and stuff like that. To a very interesting place. The food is quite amazing. As foreigners are all over the place. This is definitely a place that is up and coming. The costs are still very reasonable, very reasonable. The immigration is very unreasonable. That being said, um, I spent literally 3 or 4 hours in immigration and in a very uncomfortable situation, kind of similar to the Thailand experience in regard to, just they don't care. They don't care. They don't care at all. And, the experiences I had over there were amazing, amazingly cheap. I feel like it's very accessible. I feel like it's a very, a place that it's slightly more untapped. That being said, I do know that there is, situations where, the tourist experience is, starting to build and take shape. And, that's really what I feel it might be, the evolving situation over there because, there is, quite a movement going on. And, it's really in the nomadic experience, altogether. I mean, the longer you go about this, the more nomadic that you really feel. And, you really just keep traveling. And, I really don't have a destination. Some part of that is a little unsettling to me, as I kind of, ask myself, where does this lead? You know, and anyway, I hope that information helps. One thing to keep in mind, the more that you embark on this journey, the more that, you are, sorry, I wanted to gather my thoughts a little bit because, I feel like this is the most important part. The longer that you go here and the longer that you stay, the more that you become a foreigner in the place where you live. And that is something to really be careful of because, the costs and stuff involved are, rather cheap to be here and to go around. And you want to do your best to avoid that because it's a very dangerous thing. I do hope you enjoyed my video. I am out of time. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.